Hi, winemaker Amy Thorne here at Thornhill Vineyards, and we are very exciting. We are doing a food and wine pairing, and it's going to be Thornhill wines that pair with your favorite cookout or barbecue. So we have some great treats. And here with me is Derek Bryan, who made all of these delicacies. So we're going to talk a little bit about each food and what wine would be the best to pair with this. So Derek, which one do you want to talk about first?
Sure, so let's just start on this side and work our way down, kind of into the heavier foods. We'll start light.
I like that.
Yeah, so we've got broccoli salad here to start with, just kind of usual chopped up broccoli, a little bit of cabbage mixed in there as well, some carrots, pine nuts, and Granny Smith apples, and then your mayo base with some lemon zest in it. So it's nice, light, crisp, kind of fare.
That's delicious.
Yeah.
So let's do that pairing then. So
Sure.
I think that what a lot of people don't know about broccoli is if it's uncooked, it can be a challenging vegetable to pair wine with because of the sulfur in the vegetable. But the best way to serve it in any barbecue or cookout is to do exactly what Derek did. Put a little nice mayonnaise in there and definitely some fruit. So the Granny Smith apples is an excellent choice. Raisins also would have brought a little bit of zest, and I love the lemon. So for this one, actually your Riesling is going to be one of your best pairings. So let's try it.
So I think we've got the Riesling here, and there is actually some dried cranberries in there as well.
Oh, even better, I didn't know that, so that's really good. I love that.
I forgot they were in there until I saw it. We mentioned it.
It's good. Great, good, thank
You are.
you. Okay. So we have taken a little bit of each of the foods, and now we're going to pair it with the Riesling and the Sauvignon Blanc. We poured that in our glass, and just to give you an idea, this is my 2017 Riesling. It's from the North Coast. It's going to have beautiful golden apple on the nose, a little bit of pear, a little floral, and just a kiss of sweetness. So absolutely a wonderful wine, very aromatic. And as I said, I think it's going to be the perfect pairing with that broccoli. Very crisp vegetable with sulfur in it. So let's taste the wine, shall we? Love the nose. And let's try it.
Almost buttery.
Let's try this with the broccoli. Excellent dish. So this will be the first in our series, so make sure you tune in for future ones. We're going to be traveling and visiting some of the area's very best chefs. So Derek, what do you think?
Well, first off, I'm honored to be on that list of people. I just dabble in food, but
Now, don't be so humble.
I am no chef, but this is a great pair.
It's fabulous. I think so too. The other recommendation I would have is the Sauvignon Blanc. So I don't think we're going to beat the Riesling, but it's always fun to try another wine. So this is the 2020 Sauvignon Blanc, and I describe it as summer in a glass. It's going to have beautiful apple on the nose, definitely citrus. There's a very nice acidity, and that's what's going to pair so beautifully with the broccoli, because the broccoli is, kind of has those bitter flavors with the broccoli. So I think it's going to pair with the Sauvignon Blanc that's a little bit more fruit forward than some. People are absolutely loving it. But again, smelling the wine. It has a little bit of the zest of the lemon is going to go with this nose. You get the little lemon in the bouquet. And this wine's very round. It's very full bodied. It has a nice citrus on the very finish. And I think that's going to go really nicely with the pine nuts. It brings out the crispness more.
And like you said, the lemon too. It really brings out that citrus and lemon.
It surprisingly changes the entire dish.
Mm-hmm.
You'd almost think you were having a completely different food depending on what the wine is. And I have to say, both of them go incredibly equally well. So I think it comes down to, what do you like better, to drink a Riesling or
My
a
preference
Sauvignon
is more
Blanc?
to the dry, so I would probably lean towards the Sauvignon Blanc more, but that Riesling is not to be sniffed down at.
I mean, it is surprisingly delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just love it. Now, I think if we were to pair it with Chardonnay, I wouldn't recommend that as much, but it is a fuller dish, so I think the Chardonnay would match that and would give it that nice mid-palate. So now, tell me a little bit about the eggplant.
Yes, so the eggplant is grilled pretty quickly, and then it's matched with some balsamic glaze that's got fig and vanilla into it, and then goat cheese and some fresh basil. It's just really simple, but it's nice, matching the bold flavors and giving the eggplant something to kind of bring it out. You know, eggplant on its own is not a lot of flavor, but it's very meaty.
It's very influenced, yes, and not the easiest vegetable to pair. So you brought two challenging ones, but I love eggplant. Happens to be one of my favorite, eggplant and broccoli. But I will say this is going to pair the best with a full body white wine, which would be the Chardonnay, or a little bit lighter red, which would be the Pinot Noir. So what we're doing here is we're going to have it with the 2017 Chardonnay, got 99 out of 100 points. We're going to try that first, and we're going to segue then to my not yet released 2016 Pinot Noir, which I am absolutely loving. So we'll have the battle of white or red with the eggplant. Let's see which one we think. So trying the Chardonnay, you can just see this gorgeous color, the beautiful legs of the wine. Oh, I just love this beautiful pear and apple on the nose. It's actually at the right temperature, very important. Just as food has to be served at the right temperature, so do your wines. So your whites, you want to keep them around 55 degrees. Keep them in a wine cooler if you have that. If not, definitely a cellar is a good storing place. Maybe put it in the refrigerator to get it chilled, but not too cold. Because the colder you serve your white wines, the more the nose and the bouquet will be closed. So you want it to be open to room temperature, that you can really enjoy that. And this has just got such a beautiful full body and a beautiful mid palate. Oh, I love that.
And then it just goes off clean. That's so nice.
Wonderful, and then tasting it with the eggplant. I want that recipe.
I'll give it to you.
Oh, that is delicious. Oh, I love the balsamic reduction and the goat cheese to the basil. It is simple but perfect.
I'm gonna be hard pressed to see if that Pinot Noir beats this, because that
It nailed it.
Chardonnay just cleans it off and brightens up what you just ate. That's very nice.
It really does. And boy, it makes it shine. It brings forth that. It's this nice crispness and sharpness, yes. And it goes beautifully. And the eggplant is surprisingly creamier.
With that goat cheese.
I know, the goat cheese is great. Okay, so let's try it with the Pinot Noir, because that's the fun. You know, remember, when you're doing food and wine pairing, the important thing is what's right on your palate. So you'll have your favorites, and with all of the Thornhill wines, there's bound to be a favorite wine that you would definitely want to pair. So again, trying this, and for those of you, this is my 2016 Pinot Noir, never released. So Derek is one of the few and very special people to try it. I am just loving it. What I love about this wine is the nose. Oh, it's the cherry. Oh my goodness, I love it. It has this beautiful earthiness to the nose, which comes from the terroir. Carneros AVA, clone 777 and Noir, make magical Pinot Noir. And tasting it,
that's really nice. Even though it's light, it's not
Oh, but it has so
It's
much
got
body.
so
to
much
it.
flavor to it. Yeah.
It has a little bit of kiss of cranberry.
Mhm.
I almost could say we could go
We
back
could
with
go
the
back to the
cranberries
broccoli,
and that
yeah.
broccoli. I think we might revisit that one. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's see
All right.
how it pairs. Mm.
Start with nice. There we go.
Oh, that is so good.
The goat cheese is what makes that recipe for the eggplant.
Now, see, it's interesting. It pairs nicely with this, but it does the same thing to the pinot that it did with the Chardonnay. So it brings out the crispness and the acidity. So that's what the eggplant is doing. And also, if you put balsamic or any type of vinegar on any of your foods, you're going to be bringing out the acidity in any of the wine. So personally, in this battle of white or red, the Chardonnay with the butteriness and the roundness of the mid palate actually goes better with that dish. Although, had this eggplant been prepared in a marinara sauce with a little of the mozzarella on top, we wouldn't be talking about the Chardonnay, we'd be talking about the Pinot Noir. So that's the most beautiful thing about food and wine, they're versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both work, but I think the Chardonnay
I think the Chardonnay is definitely, I like how it cleaned it off, kind of cleaned my palate out a little bit more, so I was ready to go back right away.
Yeah, but boy, is this good.
When does this come out? So I can get my hands on some?
Oh yeah, this is coming out in September.
Ooh,
It's
all
gonna
right.
be good. Okay, so now tell us about the next dish. This looks like an Australian
It does on the Barbie.
shrimp on the Barbie. And I'm going to Australia, you know? Yeah, going there. We go.
That's a good time to go.
Australia. It's a perfect time to go.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So, all right, the next thing we've got here is just blackened grilled shrimp. So it's mixed up with a lot of dry spices, some cumin, paprika, a
Ooh.
little bit of lemon pepper is in there as well, and garlic salt. So it's just really nice, a little bit spicier, and then it goes with the smoky really nicely.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, so I think that what we're going to do, normally with the shrimp, you would only ever pair that with white wine. So that's what you want to be thinking about with shrimp, seafood, and whites. But with this spice and the blackening, we're going to go to some red. So I'm going to say, let's try something different.
I love it.
I think, you know, we're going to revisit, since we have all these wines, because a lot of times with spice, again, going back to the Riesling does very well with spicy, particularly Asian foods.
Ah.
That might go nicely. And then, of course, we have the Chardonnay. I take the Pinot out of the mix and go right for the Petite Sirah.
Ooh,
So this
okay.
is the 2017 Petite Sirah. We have not many for some. Definitely do. We are almost sold out, and I have a reserve that has not been released. So that'll be our next one. But this Petite Sirah is anything but petite. It's big, it's jammy, it's bold, it has gorgeous color, and all kinds of accolades and awards. It is definitely a crowd pleaser and one of my personal favorites.
Oh man, that's
So,
very rich.
plum,
Yeah.
it has plum, it has blackberry, it has dark cherry.
What a dark color.
And it's just,
I see what you mean about the jam. I can almost taste it and
You get a
smell
little
it.
bit of a mocha, and then when you taste it, oh, it's like heaven. Very fruit forward though. You know, it's very smooth, it has softer tannins, which I absolutely love. Whereas a lot of Petite Sirahs can be quite tannic and acidic, whereas this one is not
This is just smooth.
smooth. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So we have to re-pour the Chardonnay. I have a little of my glass.
I just
Yes, and make sure you get lots of Thornhill glasses when you do these fun little pairings. So let's try that and see what we think. Had that one. That red is so spicy. Oh, it's delicious.
The goal is finding that balance between spicy enough to give some flavor, and bring in that,
And it has the meatiness of the shrimp. Oh, it's just perfect. I
but not
love
be so
that.
much that you're sitting there sweating.
We are sharing the recipes, right, Derek?
Yes.
Okay.
So share the recipes and you can put them up on your website.
I would love that. Oh, that is nice.
That's nice.
Oh, I think we found it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to go to the Chardonnay, but that's going to be a hard one to go back to.
That is.
I think we're just going to settle on the fact that this is really good with this Petite Syrah. So the etiquette of wine pairing does not always hold up. You know,
Right.
those old roles, you know, sometimes you have to go with what does your palate say. So my palate, when you described that, I said Petite Syrah.
I think
I did not
you
do
got
this
that
wrong.
right on.
I did
That jammy is
spot on.
exactly what you need for the spice. Oh,
So nice. But we are going to go backwards.
we're gonna go back to the
Well, I
Riesling or the
think
Chardonnay.
we really, you know what? I think we ought to try that Riesling.
I think so. I think
I
the
think
butter in
the
that Riesling is gonna be
Riesling
real nice.
It's going to really pair very differently. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shrimp.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that doesn't disappoint either. Mm-hmm. The Riesling, the sweetness, because the heat, it takes the heat out, it blends very, very nicely for a white. I definitely favor the Petite Syrah myself with that pairing, but I think the Riesling
Riesling is really
is
nice.
surprisingly amazing. And that's the most beautiful thing about Riesling is it is one, believe it or not, of the most food-friendly wines. When you get into spice, you get into Asian, you get into some of those foods that people aren't quite sure what
Right.
they're going to pair with it. Try Riesling.
I have no idea, but that's because normally a Riesling to me is very sweet and a little more out of my palate. But that, with the spice on the shrimp, is great.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, that is such a great. I definitely want that recipe. I think you could sell that here at Thornhill.
I'll let you know.
Derek's Spice Rub. Woo! That is spicy. I love it.
All right.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one.
All right, so on to the last one, the kind of big hearty piece of the meal, right? Everybody does grilling on the burgers. So these are hand-pressed burgers. They're just kind of grass-fed organic beef, 85% lean. Mixed in with them is a little bit of mustard, a mesquite rub, and some Worcestershire sauce to get a little bit of that tang in there with it. Mixed up and then just put it on the grill and smoked a little bit. So,
Love it.
and then a little provolone cheese.
Perfect. Now I do want to talk a little bit though, because we have vegetarians that like a vegetarian burger, we have the turkey burgers, and we have the beef burgers.
Right.
And from a wine pairing, there are different wines that pair differently with each of the burgers. So, exactly. I'm curious though, would you put the Worcestershire sauce in the turkey and the veggie burger?
I think definitely with the veggie burger.
I do too.
I don't know about the turkey.
I don't think it would.
I don't think it would work because what's nice with the turkey is that kind of mild flavor to it. I think the Worcestershire would be too much. Worcester.
Yeah, but with this, so you have to remember, burgers are big, particularly if it's a beef burger. So beef burgers need big wines.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to segue to yet another one of the fabulous Thornhill wines. The last of the 2014 Three Sisters. A meaty male burger with a feminine wine, but this is a big Cabernet. And so the whites are not going to play in this competition. This is going to be a Cabernet versus the Petite Syrah.
Okay.
So here we go. Fresh glass, beautiful pouring of Three Sisters Cabernet. And what's so beautiful about this wine, where does the name Three Sisters come from? It's from three sister appellations, Napa, Lake, and Sonoma. 100% Cabernet, but it has three different terroirs. And I do like to think of it as the sisterhood of wine. So for all my wonderful wild women of wine, this one I made for you. So let's just enjoy it. I absolutely love this Cabernet. I think it's just so perfect. Oh, it just has gorgeous dark fruits, a little blackberry.
Black currant.
A little black currant in there. Yep, really nice jamminess.
You were saying you could just inhale that petite sirah. I could probably about do that with this.
And oh my gosh, it is just wonderful, beautiful. It has, it's very full bodied. You know, the tannins are absolutely perfect. I don't know. I think the Three Sisters is going to nail the burger tasting.
All right.
So, you be the judge.
I will have to be the judge here.
So nice. Cleansing the palate. And who doesn't like a burger?
See, that's
it.
Yeah, that's hard to beat. Because there's a little bit of pepper, there's a little bit of spice, and a little, you know, something in there with the burgers from the rub to get mixed in. So to have it matched with the wine means you don't really lose either of them. So it's really nice because you get to enjoy both.
Right, and the nice thing is, if you could pair almost any cheese, you could have a cheddar cheese, you could even have a blue cheese.
Ooh, yeah.
A burger with a blue cheese with a little bit of the crispy French onions.
Ooh,
that would be
good.
That'd be
See,
good.
with those, I would mix the cheese, mix that right in with your meat.
Oh, that's great.
So you can put it on top, just mix it right into
You
the
mean
patty.
put the blue cheese with that? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
mix it into
great.
your meat mix. That looks great.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Great recipes. Awesome.
Cool. Now I also highly recommend the kale for your
Now, why a
Renaissance.
kale? Because it just is more of a
It's a little
stronger.
harder, it's a little stronger, it's going to stand up to the burger a little bit better. Other stuff gets a little wilted, a little just lost.
Yep.
This really nice. And it's got a little bite back too. Right?
Oh, it does. I love kale.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. I'm an arugula girl though.
So you like your
I love my
spring mix, right?
arugula.
The peppery
I do.
cut? Yeah.
I really do. I like strong flavors, strong wine.
It's a theme. Yeah.
It is definitely a theme. Yeah. And you know what? Isn't that what summer barbecue is all about?
Yeah.
You know, it's the joy of summer. It's sunshine, whether you're drinking the Sauvignon Blanc, which is sunshine in a glass, or you have a kiss of sweetness from the Riesling. You've got that buttery, beautiful Chardonnay, that exquisite Pinot Noir, great finesse, beautiful cherries and earthiness of the terroir. You've got the Three Sisters Cabernet, which is the three queens out there in California, Napa, Sonoma, and Lake County, the best of all three blended together in that Three Sisters. Or you have that beautiful Petite Sirah, which is anything but petite, jammy little jewel in a glass. One of those wines is going to pair with your summer barbecue. So don't take our word for it, try it, and come and join in for future series as we visit local chefs and dine extraordinaire on award-winning Thornhill wines.
And who doesn't like that?
Cheers!
Cheers.